We are witnessing one of the most dramatic off-track moments in recent NASCAR history. And it's not happening in the garage or on pit road. It's happening in a courtroom. And the fallout? It could reshape the future of two prominent teams and challenge the very foundation of NASCAR's charter system. 2311. Racing and Front Row Motorsports just got dealt a crushing legal blow by the United States Court of Appeals. Unless something changes fast, these two teams could lose all 6 of their charters, meaning they'd be forced to run as open teams for the rest of the 2025 season. That's more than a technicality, that's a full-on identity crisis. Let's back up and break this down. On May 9th, lawyers representing 2,311 Racing and Front Row Motorsports squared off against NASCAR's legal team in Richmond, Virginia. The courtroom was packed. The stakes were sky high. At the heart of the battle was the 2025 Charter Agreement, a document NASCAR teams were required to sign in order to race with guaranteed entry this season. The team's argument? That the agreement included a clause forcing them to waive their right to sue NASCAR for past conduct, and that, in their view, was anti-competitive and potentially illegal under U.S. antitrust laws. Back in December 2024, the team scored a small win when a district court judge issued a preliminary injunction allowing 2311 and FRM to race with full charter status while the legal process played out. That injunction kept them in the game. It let them function like any other charter team. It even let them buy an additional charter each from the defunct Stewart-Haas Racing outfit, expanding their presence to 3 cars apiece. But NASCAR wasn't having it. They immediately appealed. And now, 6 months later, the appeals court has officially overturned that injunction. In plain English, the court said, "You don't have a legal basis for your antitrust claim and we're revoking your temporary protection." This doesn't take effect immediately. The teams have 2 weeks to request a rehearing, what's called an en banc review, where all the judges in the circuit would weigh in. But if they don't make that move, or if it's denied, then by June 26th, the ruling becomes final. And when that happens, everything changes. No more guaranteed starting spots, no more charter payout, no more protection. 2311 and Front Row would be classified as open teams, meaning they'd have to qualify for every race on speed, fall short one weekend, and they're sitting it out. That risk alone is enough to spook sponsors, trigger contract clauses, and create chaos behind the scenes. Team attorney Jeffrey Kessler made it clear. This isn't just a legal argument. It's about survival. It's not economically viable to qualify every week, he said. Sponsors want stability. Drivers want guarantees. You can't build a championship team on uncertainty. And he's not wrong. Charter status is the closest thing NASCAR has to a franchise model. It guarantees a team entry into every race, a cut of the purse money, and long-term value for team owners. Losing that, mid-season, is like losing the deed to your business. One wrong move, one missed qualifying lap, and you're out of the spotlight. Let's be clear, only one cup race this year, the Daytona 500, has sent cars home due to field limits. But the point isn't who goes home, it's who has to worry about it every single week. Now, let's talk about those Stewart-Haas Racing charters. Both 2311 and FRM used the injunction to buy 1 more charter each, going from 2 entries to 3. But now that the legal protection is gone, those purchases are in limbo. The big problem? Stewart-Haas no longer has a use for them. They've downsized to a 1-car operation. They can't, and reportedly won't, take those charters back. So if they're not with 2311 and FRM, where do they go? Does NASCAR seize and redistribute them? Do they disappear entirely? Do they get sold to other teams? We don't know yet. But what we do know is this. NASCAR's charter system is no longer just a business deal. It's now a battlefield. The appeals court didn't just side with NASCAR. They effectively dismissed the foundation of the team's legal theory. Their ruling stated that no legal precedent supports the idea that requiring a release of past legal claims constitutes an antitrust violation. That's a powerful statement, one that weakens the team's case going into the December trial. But the teams aren't giving up. In a statement to Bob Pockrass, their attorney said this ruling was narrow and doesn't affect their confidence in winning the full case later this year. They framed the fight as one for fairness, for a system that isn't dominated by one entity, controlling everything from rules to money to legal exposure. Let's talk dollars for a second. Charters are big business. They've been sold for up to $40 million apiece in recent years. They represent years of investment, infrastructure, talent, and brand equity. If this ruling stands, all 6 of the charters currently held by 23XI and Front Row could vanish overnight. That's a loss in the hundreds of millions, not just in prize money, but in long-term team value. And the dominoes keep falling. Sponsorships are at risk. Driver contracts could be voided. One insider even floated the idea that if the financial burden gets too heavy, either team could pull out of NASCAR entirely. And that's not just their problem, it's NASCAR's. 23XI Racing isn't just any team. It's co-owned by Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin. It's one of the sport's most exciting, forward-facing brands. They've brought new fans to the sport, injected star power, and helped modernize NASCAR's image. Losing a team like that would be catastrophic. As for Front Row Motorsports, they've built a strong, respectable program over the years. They've scored wins, developed talent, and proven that underdogs can still fight in a sport often dominated by giants. This ruling doesn't just impact 2 teams, it sets a precedent. If charter status can be stripped this easily, who's next? What's stopping NASCAR from changing the rules again? That's why this fight matters, not just to 23XI and FRM, but to every team that's poured money into a system that's supposed to offer stability. And let's not forget what this means for the fans. If teams start folding, pulling out, or being forced to scale back, you feel that on Sundays. Smaller fields, weaker competition, less diversity in ownership, and let's be honest, more control in fewer hands. This ruling may be technical, but its impact is personal. It touches every mechanic, every crew member, every engineer working late nights to put a car on the track. It touches every fan who's invested in the drama and rivalries of the Cup Series. And it sends a chilling message to anyone thinking of investing in the sport long-term. The countdown is on, the clock is ticking. In 2 weeks, we'll know whether 23XI Racing and Front Row Motorsports are able to mount a last-minute defense, or whether they'll be forced into the fight of their lives as open teams. This case is far from over. The full trial begins December 1st. But the war for NASCAR's future? That's already underway. So what do you think? Should the charter system be protected at all costs? Or does NASCAR need to open the door to change? Will 23XI and Front Row survive this legal battle? Or is this the beginning of the end for their 2025 season? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like and subscribe for updates as this story develops, because this one's not just about legal arguments. It's about racing, ownership, power, and the soul of NASCAR itself.